So now we're here to preview Saturday's match between Pakistan and Afghanistan at Headingley. So, things have been really exciting for Pakistan recently. They've got themselves back into this tournament, big style, and this is now seen as their free hit, open goal, whatever you want to call it. Everyone's expecting them to beat Afghanistan. First thing I've got to say, do you think they are going to? And is this a sort of situation Pakistan are comfortable with?
Yeah, I do think they will. Probably not a situation that they're comfortable with, but it's a situation that they've got, isn't it? I actually think now I'd rather be on Pakistan to win this tournament at 10-1 than I would at England at 9-2 or anything like that. Obviously Pakistan, we're hoping Pakistan don't make the semi-finals, because if they do, it means that they've ruined Bangladesh's chances. But they've got Afghanistan, haven't they? And win both the games, and there's every chance that they're going to be in the semi-finals. So, they've already came through one knockout game, haven't they? Effectively a knockout game against South Africa. They won that with ease. Done the same again to New Zealand, didn't they? Deservedly beat New Zealand. Fantastic partnership between Haris Sohail and Babar Azam. Both of those look real class acts. Good Lord only knows where Haris Sohail was hiding in the early part of this tournament. But it's not the first time Pakistan have fucked their team lineup up, been forced into a change and stumbled on the right one and gone on and won a tournament. It's exactly what they did 2 years ago when they won the Champions Trophy. And who knows? One thing that we're obviously going to get fed plenty of during this game is how uncannily similar Pakistan's run in this tournament is to 1992, the last time this format was used. So far, every single result in that tournament in 1992, in terms of their first 7 matches, they've emulated here. Loss, win, rained off, loss, win. They're exactly the same, and they won the last 2. Back then, won the semi-final and beat England in the final. Well, they're not going to beat England in the final this year, but everything else could be very close to happening again.
Yeah, there's a remarkable sense of deja vu there, and I really feel that Pakistan have got a massive amount of momentum right now. Their bowling attack especially has been impressive all season. Their batting starting to get better and better and better. Let's talk about this match is at Headingley. And I'll be honest, the pitch in the match against Sri Lanka, England versus Sri Lanka, didn't really kind of fooled me. I expected better. Didn't play that well. Hard to time it. I didn't think it was prepared very well, to be honest with you. A bit disappointed in it. And whether or not it's going to be any better here, I'm not sure. The forecast is unbelievable. Unbelievably hot for Leeds. 28, 29 degrees Celsius could reach. That I can tell you now, that is like the Sahara Desert around here, Kev. I'm actually not around. I'm actually on the going out to the coast on Saturday and Sunday. So I'm not going to be around. But if I was playing cricket, this would be one of those days where everyone is absolutely moaning how it's too hot. Drinks every 10 overs. But, these two teams are used to heat, and I don't know, maybe there'll be a bit of turnout there for Headingley. It's been pretty dry recently.
Yeah, possibly. I don't see it myself. It's not the way Headingley produce their wickets, is it? The good thing is, unlike in the run-up to the England game, where there was tons and tons of rain around, the groundsman's had, when was that England game? Last Friday, wasn't it? So the groundsman's had over a week to sort it out and prepare this pitch properly. So, yeah, we should see a good pitch. They'll probably use the same one, won't they? No need to use a different one, having had 8 or 9 days in between hits. And, of course, they've got other games to come, haven't they? Afghanistan are back here against West Indies, aren't they, later in the tournament? So they'll probably save a pitch for that. And, of course, they've got the T20 on the horizon as well, the T20 Blast, so they'll need some pitches for that. So I would imagine they'll use the same one, but I would imagine it'll have been prepared a little bit better. It should be a little bit flatter, but you might not be able to tell the difference here, because I think the general consensus is that both bowling attacks are going to be on top here.
Yeah, this is one thing I will say. This is going to feel like a home match for Pakistan. There's an awful lot of support for them around the Leeds area in the north of England. In fact, actually, Headingley, I don't know whether this was by luck or not, or by just whether it was arranged. All of the Asian nations have got matches here, and they'll all get plenty of support. When they're performing here, but there'll be a great atmosphere. The Pakistani fans really do come out in their droves when they play at Headingley. But so they'll feed off that. Onto some bets for the game then, and you're going to you don't think there's going to be many sixes here, Kev? Under 9.5 sixes is your bet.
It is, yeah. If you take away Afghanistan club in Australia at Bristol in their first game, when they were pretty much down and out, weren't they? They just struck gold against Adam Zampa and Marcus Stoinis, which most people are more than likely to do. And the sixes that they hit against England at a very, very, very batsman-friendly Old Trafford. They've only hit 5 sixes in 5 matches. In the other 5 matches, 2 of those were down at Southampton. Admittedly, you're not going to hit many sixes there, are you? But they have played at Taunton as well against New Zealand. So they're not massive 6 hitters. They keep pissing about with their batting lineup. Another one came in from nowhere the other day, didn't he? Top scored, actually, ironically. So there's no consistency in that batting lineup. With a bit of luck, Zazai won't play, but even if he does, he's as loose as a goose, isn't he? You'd expect Mohammed Amir to clean him up pretty quickly. Pakistan, yeah, they can score 6s, can't they? The likes of Fakhar Zaman, he can hit a few 6s, but by and large, they're mostly classy stroke players, aren't they? Certainly Imam ul Haq and Babar Azam's as classy a batsman as there is in world cricket right now. He's a dream to watch. Haris Sohail, another one, likes to get on with it, but by and large, it's all done in 4s. Don't really think they're going to take liberties against this Afghanistan attack. Majid bowled really well with the new ball the other day. Would expect him to do likewise here. So it's not like Pakistan are going to get on a rollicking effort or anything like that and start doing anything silly. Pakistan don't need to improve their net run rate. They'll get through to the semi-finals on points alone if they win out. And as we saw the other day, the ball did just hold a little bit in the wicket. If it does that again here, then that's going to make 6 hitting a bit trickier. Although I think Pakistan will win, I would imagine there's always going to be that constant pressure on their batsmen, isn't there? That don't get out and leave it to someone else. So the 6s line just looks a bit high. 9.5, I can't see it really. England struggled to hit 6s here. And if England are struggling to hit 6s here, most teams are going to, aren't they? So, I'll take the under there. With a bit of luck, Afghanistan bat first. But even if they don't, I think they've got the bowlers to keep the 6 count down.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring game myself. And I would totally be on the under-runs line, 510.5. But, if Pakistan did bat first, there would be a chance they could get a good score. If the pitch is a bit better. I mean, if Afghanistan do bat first, they're not going to get more than 250, are they? Surely not. But
you wouldn't have thought so, would you? But they pushed 250 against England, didn't they? And they scored 215 against India. So
I don't think they'll get hit, but I think probably a likely score if they batted first would be like 230, 240. But at the same time, I might even take that come the actual game, because even if Pakistan did get 300, would Afghanistan get 200 in reply? They may well collapse. But I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game either. But under 9.5 6 does look a good bet there, I must say, Kev. An Afghanistan player who's treated you very well recently is Gulbuddin Naib, the captain, and his performance line, despite him covering it all the time, doesn't show any signs of significantly going up, does it? 35.5 is all we need him to get now. And, I think we've said plenty for those regular listeners about him. But just briefly, in black and white, why he should be getting on his line?
Yeah, it's creeping up, isn't it? This will be the 3rd time I've taken him, and I should have taken him against England. And I told you, as I said before off air, that I fancied it. Against England, it was 27.5, so it's creeping up. It's now 35.5. But it's not like he's only just covering it, isn't it? Is it? He's just covered it against India with. Sorry, not against India. He just covered it last time out with bat and ball. So it's not even like you need him to compete in all three facets to get the job done. Bangladesh, it was, sorry, not India, that he done that against. He took 2 wickets and then he covered the total with the bat as well. I think he scored 47, didn't he? And looked pretty good in doing it. He looked good against England with the bat. In fact, since he's gone and opened the batting, Afghanistan's batting efforts have been a hell of a lot better. I don't think there's any surprise in that. He's got a good technique, sees off the new ball, gets himself in. Not in the style that Chris Gale does. He puts bat on ball, he'll rotate the strike. But then when he is in, 6, 7, 8 overs in, he's happy to go big whilst the field's still up. The good thing about teams that play Afghanistan is they don't drop the field out straight away after 10 overs, do they? So the field is still up. So if he hasn't covered his performance or needs a few more runs or whatever, then there's still going to be that option of going over the top and not having any risk of getting caught in the deep, which is perfect. But the way he bowls, not so much the way he bowls, but the times in the innings that he bowls dictates that he's often going to take wickets. If Pakistan do bat first here, he'll be bowling at the death. He's just picked up 2 wickets in his last 2 overs against Bangladesh. He picked up 2 wickets in his last over against India. He picked up another wicket earlier in the innings as well. He's what we call a 3D cricketer, isn't he? At the minute, he's still Afghanistan's captain. So he's leading by example. And the only one not noticing seems to be 888 Sport, because 35.5 is very approachable.
Scandalously low.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, if you look at sort of other players with similar sort of scoring potentials in this game, they're all into the 40s. So yeah, this one is a bit lower. It is, particularly, as I say, since he's gone up to open, his scoring power has gone through the roof. I think it's something like 67 points, 107 points, and if memory serves me right from the last game, 97 points. So it's not like he's only just covering this; he's clearing it with miles to spare.
Well, as long as he gets 36, I don't care now. He can scrape it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All I care, but 36 will do us. Do shop around. Don't be getting a line in the 40s. That's for sure. Not when 35.5 is available out there. Just before we go, you're having 2 top batsman bets. Pakistan, you're going Haris Sohail, who's been pretty good form recently.
Very good form, isn't he? I mean, his innings against South Africa was really, really good. Pakistan were in that sort of position where they needed to win, but they were teetering on the edge of it all going tits up. And he walked in, played a brilliant innings right from the start as well. Just looked so confident for a guy who hadn't played in the tournament up until then. That was a fair effort, a more than fair effort, actually, a perfectly acceptable effort. And he played really, really, really well last time out, didn't he? In their win against New Zealand, probably a better innings when you think that New Zealand were bang at it, as opposed to South Africa, who were waiting for the plane to go home. 50 in both innings. Looks really, really good. Not a massive amount in this Afghanistan attack to get him in terms of their most dangerous bowler, Rashid Khan, will be spinning the ball into his pads, which will help him. Mujib's most likely to have bowled out by the time he comes into bat. He's probably the quickest scorer in the top 5. Maybe Fakhar Zaman would argue with that, although he's in no form whatsoever right now. So yeah, 7-1 looks a big price on a guy who's in genuinely good nick, and could even go up and bat at 4, because surely Mohammad Hafiz's time is up after getting out to the 3rd part-time spinner in the tournament against New Zealand. It's just ridiculous now.
That's his MO, isn't it? I mean, Hafiz, I know, 3 friends of mine are Pakistan supporters, and it's the same old story with Hafiz. I think the patience with him is starting to run out, but at the same time, he is that enigma. I think what the annoying thing is, he's so experienced, isn't he? He shouldn't be doing that sort of thing. Well,
it's just ridiculous. You can't get out to Aaron Finch, Joe Root, and Kane Williamson in 3 out of 4 matches. It's not just the fact that they got him out. All 3 of them were caught on the boundary as well. It's a nonsense. His patience will be wearing thin with him.
So, top batsman in the Afghanistan market. Who are you going with here?
I am going with the guy who top scored last time out, Samuel Shinwari. Pretty experienced, actually. I'm really not sure why he hasn't played in the tournament until that last game. When Afghanistan won their only World Cup game 4 years ago when they beat Scotland, he made 90 odd and a really good 90 odd under real pressure. Afghanistan had to win that game, obviously. And they weren't chasing much. I think they were chasing 210, but like they have done in this tournament, they got themselves in a pickle, and he came in and sorted them out. He batted really, really well against Bangladesh the other day. The good Lord only knows why he came in at number 7, number 8. Much better than that. Yeah, if Afghanistan learn anything from this tournament, is to sort their batting lineup out, because they've got the batsmen who've got the skills to perform, but they're giving them absolutely no chance to perform. Zadran's another one. He's been walking in at 7. He's been their best batsman throughout the tournament. But yeah, this fella looks good. It was a bit of carnage while he was at the crease the other day, wasn't it? He came in sort of towards the middle of the end of that Shakib spell, which was an amazing spell of bowling. But whilst wickets were tumbling around him, he kept his head and he managed to get a few hits away towards the end. That's exactly how I see this innings going, really. I'd imagine at some point there's going to be an Afghanistan collapse, particularly if Mohammad Amir and Wahab Riaz come back in the middle of the innings or something. And as long as the openers haven't got too far away, with the exception of Naeeb, of course, I would be surprised if he's chasing something that he can't reach. As long as he doesn't run out of partners, I think he's a fair price at 13-1.
Yeah, two juicy prices there on the in the top batsman market. So, all things considered, Pakistan to win the game easily, a thrashing, or just sort of a nervous one?
I think if Pakistan bat first, they'll win easily. This is their modus operandi, isn't it? Bat first, rack up the runs and defend it. It's exactly what they did in the Champions Trophy 2 years ago against India when no one gave them any chance. If they're chasing, I can see them having a not necessarily a wobble or two, but I can see it not being as convincing on the scoreboard perhaps as it should be. Afghanistan, they merit respect, Steve. They pushed India really, really close last week, and India, look what they've just done to the West Indies. They've battered them out of sight. I would imagine Afghanistan are looking at this now as put in another really confident performance, and then comes our real chance of a World Cup win against West Indies. So I'd imagine they'll be using this game. Of course they'll want to win. Of course they will. But I think if they're honest with themselves, their best chance of winning a game at this World Cup is against West Indies, because they might not even have 11 players left by the time that game comes around. West Indies, they're falling like flies. So I'm expecting a competitive performance, a half decent performance, but Pakistan have got the class to cover it.
Yeah, and that West Indies-Afghanistan match is also at Headingley, so they can do their homework, can't they, in this game for it. So, all right, well, thanks for your thoughts on that game, Kev. Hope we can get some winners out of it. And look out for our podcast for the second game on Saturday, which is New Zealand against Australia at Lords. So keep your eye out for that separate podcast. But from this edition, it's goodbye from me.
Yep, cheerio, everyone. Here's for a good weekend.